This one too.
That's okay. Is that a wise person calling you? Oh, you flipped it out completely. Oh, my goodness. You can hear me now? Yeah. Proverbs 8, 10, and 11 say, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her, wisdom. So the question is, how important is wisdom to you and I? Once upon a time, there was a winner of $16.2 million. Now, William Bud Post, and that's the actual picture of William Bud Post, lives on Social Security and food stamps. Post was successfully sued by his former girlfriend for a share of his winnings. One of his brothers was arrested for hiring a hitman to kill him, so he couldn't inherit a share of the winnings. His other siblings convinced him to invest in a car business as well as a restaurant, which were both unsuccessful. Post found himself $1 million in debt within a year and was forced to declare bankruptcy. They say that 70% of people who win the lotto go bankrupt. Why? Because you don't have the skills to manage the money. It's not an issue of having more money. The issue is the skills to manage money. Wisdom is better than money. Wisdom is more valuable to me than any pleasure I can fill. Happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gains understanding. Proverbs 24, 13 through 14 says, my son, eat honey because it's good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to your taste, so shall the knowledge of wisdom be to your soul. If you have found it, there is a prospect for a better life. But it's sweeter than the honeycomb if you have wisdom. Wisdom is more valuable to me than any priority I can pursue. And all the things you may desire cannot compare with her. So what are our priorities in life? What do we teach our kids? We tell our kids, get a good job. But in order to get a good job, get what? Get education. So we got to get you into a good school. And that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, if you have a good job and you don't have wisdom, what do you have? Nothing. Get fired. Another job. Proverbs 4, 5, and 7 says, get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget, nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will preserve you. Love her, and she will keep you. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. In all you're getting, get understanding. And then fourthly, wisdom is more valuable to me than any possession I might have. She is more precious than rubies, the text says. Proverbs 23, 22 and 23 says, listen to your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy the truth and don't sell it. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. Well, how beneficial is wisdom to me? What happens when I have it? Well, the model is King Solomon, remember? He's prayer in 1 Kings 3, 7 through 12 for wisdom. Proverbs 3, 16 through 18 says, length of days is in her right hand. That's wisdom's right hand. And in her left hand, riches and honor. Her ways are pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all who retain her. Wisdom benefits me by bringing me success. In her left hand, there are riches and honor. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the axe is dull and one doesn't sharpen the edge, then he must use more strength. But wisdom brings success. Now, I'm just taking a poll here. How many of you have had an axe in your hand? Liz, the fact that you have an axe makes me a little nervous. Yeah, all right. Yours is in your basement, as is mine. I have tried to cut wood with a dull axe. And I got to tell you, what happens is it hits the tree and it bounces off, and then you got to exercise more and more and more strength. But with a sharp axe, two things are true. You got to be careful you don't cut yourself. Remember, straddle the log, all right? And then number two, it cuts. It cuts, and it cuts good. What is a good thing, I'm speaking to the choir here. You've gone back to school to get smarter about the Bible. You're sharpening your axe. You can either work hard or you can work smart. Working smart is being a person of wisdom. Then you don't have to do it over again. You don't have to do it over and over and over again. Wisdom benefits me by giving me security. Length of days is in her right hand. Proverbs 28:26 says, he who trusts in his own heart is a fool. So if you trust your own heart, what are you according to this verse? So what about the people who say follow your heart? But haven't you heard that over and over in our society today? The thing I've learned most is follow my heart. And I have in each of these 7 marriages. Following your heart is not smart. Because your heart is wicked and deceitful. It will deceive you. Whoever walks wisely will be delivered. But wisdom gives me security. I know I'm doing the right thing based on at least right principles. Does that guarantee that the outcome will always be perfect? No. But it sure beats, going, oh, I don't know. My heart told me to do this, I think. And wisdom benefits me by giving me satisfaction. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and happy are all who retain her. Proverbs 19:8 reminds us, he who gets wisdom loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will find good. And wisdom benefits me by laying out for me a strategy. All her paths are peace. Through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. See the strategy? Not half-baked. And wisdom benefits me by making me strong. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. A wise man is strong. Yes, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel you will wage your own war, and in a multitude of counselors, what is there? Safety. Now, I think the assumption is in the multitude of wise counselors there's safety. If you get a bunch of stupid people around you and ask them for advice, you'll make a good stupid decision. If you get people around you who are only going to agree with you, they're out there though. So what is the cost for me to become a wise individual? If wisdom is so important, what is the cost for me to do it? Well, number one, I am required to do some accounting in order to become wise. I've got to make a decision. So why is there in the hand of the fool the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it? I must say, you know what? I'm going to have a heart for wisdom. I'm going to pursue wisdom. I'm going to have a passion for wisdom. It's going to be that important to me. Secondly, or how do I count the cost? Well, there's a price to pay in terms of time. There's a price to pay in terms of friends. In terms of friends. Because sometimes we have friends in our life who are fun people, who are not wise. And the more we hang with them, there you go. I didn't have to say it, did I? It happened, right? And then there's a price to pay in terms of dollars. Wisdom will cost you money. For some of you, you actually bought a theology book or a Bible survey book. You've never done that before in your life. You would have never done that. It costs. It costs in terms of entertainment. I'm not going to be able to sit and only watch TV. Understand that watching the Bible series last night is not reading the Bible. Yes, that was different. Well, it's well known that in the Hebrew, there are ninja angels. Well, the problem is they want you to be entertained. So in order for you to be entertained, they have to take a little license. I'm just telling you, I just want you to know in the Hebrew, ninja angels is big. Yeah, it's called crapola. Well, let's see how they do with the rest of it, you know? There's also a price to pay. Here's what I really feel bad about, okay? They had a huge marketing campaign. So a lot of churches right now have signed on to push everybody toward that and do a study through it. Those pastors' phones lit up last night. I thought, what do you got us doing here? What do you got us doing here? I thought it was going to be the Bible. You know, and so I feel kind of bad about that. Maybe I should have gotten you guys involved so you could have called me late last night. No. There's also a price to pay in terms of popularity and prestige. Nobody, well, not everybody likes it when we're wise. Because wisdom sometimes says, no, I'm not doing that. Why? I have sat with people who have had tremendous, in their minds, investment ideas. And you say, you know, I talked to some other people, and it's not a wise thing to do. But what's wrong with you? This is going to work. When I'm making $1 million, you're going to be sorry. I have yet to be sorry. Will I give up things that are dear to me in order to become a wise person? That's the question. I am required to demonstrate an attitude in order to be wise. When pride comes, then comes shame, but with what is wisdom? Humble. I must be a humble person. Humble people can experience wisdom. People who are not humble will not get wisdom. Humility means I don't know it all. So I'm going to listen to your side. I'm going to listen to what you offer. Wisdom cannot enter the mind of the big-headed man. His mind has no room for anything more. It is already filled with the thoughts of himself and his importance. Will I humble myself under the tutelage of the master teacher? Ecclesiastes 5:2 tells us that when we go to the house of God, let our words be what? Few. I am required to be willing to undergo affliction to be wise. The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. So there's going to be some affliction for me to be smart. How many of us have prayed, Lord, afflict me so I can be smart? That's what I was thinking. But the psalmist says in 119, says, it was good that I was afflicted, so that now I obey your word. Afterwards. There you go. Thank you, Lord, for taking me to woodshed. The affliction of wisdom, saying no to what I want to do or others may want me to do, saying no to the amount of sleep I've come to enjoy, saying no to retirement or the easy life. If you get wise, you're not going to be able to retire. Because wisdom will require you to invest in other people. You may change your job, but you'll say, I've got too much. I've spent my life gaining wisdom. I'm not going to do nothing with it now. I'm going to export it. I'm going to proselytize. And it may mean saying yes to something I don't like to do. I would say for the vast majority of people I run into, the hardest thing for them to do is read. It's the hardest thing for them to do. Now, I didn't have many friends growing up. You can understand why. And so my mother made me read a lot as a 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old. I would pick up a book anytime and read it. Reading, to me, is the simplest thing in the world to do. And I can read fast. I can read, it don't matter to me. I can read anywhere. The hardest thing for most people I meet, because they were not raised that way, it's not that they're not capable, they just were not raised that way, is the reading. Because it's slow and it's arduous. The only way it gets better, listen carefully, it's important, is read. So the more you force yourself to read, the better reader you become. And the better writer you become. People tell me I write well. If I write well, it's because I read a lot. My first paragraphs in high school, the guy said a paragraph is not 4 pages long. Same idea. Same idea as in one paragraph, right? 4 pages, it's a paragraph. Can I say no and yes to the right things? And I'm required to give my full attention to be wise, so that you incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver, search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. But note the effort that's involved here. Wisdom is a jealous taskmaster that doesn't want to be part of a multitasking process. Obtaining wisdom will require quality and quantity time on my part. Pick a topic you want to be wise on. For instance, we've offered in the past year Dave Ramsey's course on financial freedom. Folks have a hard time staying with that thing. It's 10 or 11 weeks long. It's 2 hours per week. It's a lot of time. People go, I can't commit that kind of time. Okay. How will you get smart with money then? Learn by experience? Yeah, you lose it. But the problem is, you lose it. How many different ways is there to lose money? I tell you, I got quite a few. And if you want one more, give me your money. I'll lose it for you. Just give me the money. I'll do it for you, man. Just give me back. I could lose it. Ramsey's thing is great, but it's 10 weeks wrong. And people go, I can't do that. Well, then you'll not be wise with money unless you find some. It's not going to come to you. You cannot hold a book about money on your head. Yes, sister. Sure. I'm sure we will. We just need somebody to run it other than me. Dave Ramsey, you see him on TV. It's Money Matters. You can probably see it online now, but it's really good stuff, and it's hard stuff. He's not Mr. Gentle. Liz, did you take that with us? Yeah, he was not Mr. Gentle. Well, if you ask 1,000 people, what is the purpose of money? About 900 of them will say to spend. And really, money is not to spend. Money is to invest in the things that are important to you. And if you use money to invest in the things that are important to you, then all of a sudden it changes your perspective of the money. And if you understand that for the most part, almost entirely, the problem is not how much you have coming in, it's how much you have going out. And that most of us have no idea what's going out. We know what our regular bills are, but our miscellaneous spending. And think about how much money could be given to world missions if nobody had credit card debt. Okay, that's enough. We go on. I am required to maintain an attachment to be wise, so that incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment, lift up your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you understand the fear of the Lord and knowledge. But the attachment is there. Wisdom is not something gained in a matter of days or weeks or even months. It's something I must pursue every day for the rest of my life. Am I willing to pursue wisdom for a lifetime, or will I revert back to the course I traveled before? And I am required to give over my affections to be wise. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. That's wisdom speaking. Wisdom loves those who will love her. Everybody else? Remember Proverbs 1, she laughs at. I must choose to strongly love wisdom because of her beauty. Do I really love wisdom, or am I still infatuated with my or the world's way of doing things? I am required to consult advisors to be wise. By pride comes nothing but strife, but with the well-advised is wisdom. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is what? Wise. It's not weakness to ask somebody else their advice. It's not weakness to ask somebody else how to do something. That's smart. That's smart. Oh, I don't want them to know that I don't know how to do it. Well, they'll find out. They'll find out. The wise person is not the smartest person in the room, but rather the person who surrounds him or herself with the smartest people they possibly can. Do I consult wise people and wise resources, or myself while making my way through life? Here's a simple formula. Surrender to the only wise God. Study God's Son, because in him is hidden all the riches of wisdom. Saturate with God's Word, because it'll make you wise. And seek out godly people, the wise. So that's wisdom. So now I got you thinking, right? Now, I gave out a new sheet that's I find very, very helpful. And what I've tried to do, again, is I've tried to become smarter by studying Proverbs. Now, I'm not sure I've attained to that, but I've tried to be that. Wiser. I'm not as stupid as I used to be, I will say that. In chapter 7, verses 6 through 23, you find, I see it this way, you find Master Simple and Mr. Prudent. And I want to become Mr. Prudent. But Master Simple is who I am now. That's who we all are to start with. So we want to get to the place where we move from being simple to prudent. I resemble the simple man when I don't perceive the dangers around me. That's chapter 7, verses 6 through 12. We'll call this vulnerability. He's the wrong person. This text says, "For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man." And how is he characterized? Devoid of understanding. He's not been written on yet. He's a clean slate. That's the newest one I gave out tonight. He's in the wrong place. Passing along the street near her house, he took the path to her house. The her here is the evil woman, the harlot. So, her house. He's the wrong person. He's simple. And he goes to the wrong place. He passes near her house. And he's at the wrong time. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. So right now, he's undercover. Wrong person, wrong place, wrong time, and then he meets the wrong individual. And there a woman met him with the attire of a harlot. I don't think you have to think too long till you figure out the attire of a harlot. Think Cher. You got it. Think of the Academy Awards, the red carpet. There you got it. She has the attire of a harlot, but she has a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious. Her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking at every corner. Contrast the prudent. The prudent are aware of danger in their situation. Proverbs 22:3 says, "A prudent man foresees evil and does what? Hides himself. But the simple pass on and are punished." The simple is going, "Oh, I don't know." The prudent is going, "Whoa. Where am I? Could I get myself in trouble? Then I'm going to get myself out of here." In Proverbs 5, it reminding individuals, males, about this same woman says, remove your way far from her and don't go near the door of her house. You'd think that would be simple, right? 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. If you want to avoid the devil, stay out of his neighborhood. So this simple one resembled, or this simple one was vulnerable. And when I am, or put myself in vulnerable situations, I'm in trouble. Why anyone would go who's inexperienced to buy or lease a car by themselves, I do not know. They will steal you blind. And they don't do it outside. They take you back in a little room. And then they work you over. I resemble the simple one when I don't perceive the deception overcoming me. I don't see the danger, and then I don't perceive the deception. It's called gullibility, vulnerability and gullibility. Line number one, this will be a special affair. And she's saying basically that this young man is an exception for this. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face she said to him, I have a peace offering with me. Today I have paid my vows, so I came out to meet you, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. It was only you I wanted. She's lying. There's also a little hidden thing here, I'm pretty sure. Why would she have offered her peace offerings? When would that be required? Leviticus would tell us that that's required at the end of the woman's cycle. What? Yes. Line number two. Not only is this special, it's only you I wanted. Never had anyone else besides you. This will be a satisfying situation. I have a need for this. She said, I've spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings of Egyptian linen. I've perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. Oh, it's going to be, oh, what a night. Line number three. This will be a secret affair. I can get away with this. My husband's not at home. He's gone on a long journey, taking a bag of money with him. He's got his MasterCard, his Visa, and his American Express. And he's going to come home on the appointed day, and it ain't today. Contrast the prudent. They are alert to deception in their situation. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is what? Deceit. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way. 14:15 says, the simple believes every word, but the prudent considers well his steps. After I got bored with the Bible last night, the miniseries, I watched a program I've never watched before, The Celebrity Apprentice. There was people that resembled this in The Celebrity Apprentice. This one person, anyone see Celebrity Apprentice? Don't bother. But this one person was being told something by another person, and every word the other person told them, they believed. In The Celebrity Apprentice. No. I don't know the people. I don't know celebrities anymore. James 1:16 and 17 says, do not be deceived, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, Galatians tells us, he also reaps. There can be, or there may be, a sucker born every minute, but he or she need not be you. You're not required to be that sucker. I resemble the simple man when I don't believe the destruction awaiting for me. So what we're seeing here is vulnerability, gullibility, and in this case, he's going to be destroyed, stupidity. Watch what it says. He is oblivious to his enticement. With her enticing speech, she causes him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. He doesn't even realize that's happening. He is oblivious to his entrapment. Immediately he went after her as an ox goes to where? Slaughter. Or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till an arrow struck his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare. And he's oblivious to its end. You know, he's going to be dead in one way or another, spiritually, physically, emotionally. He did not know him. No, it would cost him his life. This woman's going to destroy him. He doesn't realize it. Contrast the prudent. They are attuned to destruction in their situation. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. They're attuned to what's going on. Proverbs 5:21 and 23. The wages of a man are before the eyes of the Lord. The ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord. And he ponders all his paths. His own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. In which areas of my life do I resemble the simple individual? Is it money? Is it emotions? Is it smooth-talking men or women? In which areas do I resemble the prudent? To be prudent, I must embrace Proverbs. I must receive correction from others. I must seek wisdom for myself, and I must devour the Word of God. Master Simple and Mr. Prudent, which one am I going to be? Now, I think better than any other of these Proverbs is the one I gave you last week, RSVP for dinner. You have that? This is probably the best summation of Proverbs. Yeah, those who were absent last week don't have it, Judy. Have you ever gotten one of those things at RSVP? I've got them here in Staten Island, and they're usually for things they want me to spend a lot of money to come to. And it's usually a dinner honoring another pastor. Just ask me for the money up front, that's all. Just get it over with. I'd rather send it. You mean, do I have to sit there for 3 hours, or can I just send you the money? But RSVP, you know, is an important concept. And here we find an invitation to dinner from two sets of people. One is Lady Wisdom, and the other is Lady Folly. I just love the contrast here. It says, Wisdom has built her house. She's hewn out her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also furnished her table. Now, it's clear from here that she didn't do this herself. She got somebody else to do it. She had money. She has sent out her maidens. She cries out from the highest place of the city, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. As for him who lacks understanding, she says, come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine I have mixed. Forsake foolishness and live, and go in the way of understanding. First of all, what we can say from here is that Lady Wisdom had experienced great personal success, and she possessed great personal resources before the banquet. How do we know that? Well, look what she has. She's got a big house. How'd that house get there? She's able to furnish a huge table. She's got maidens she's going to send out to do her bidding. This is a very successful woman that you and I might want to listen to. Lady Wisdom also has gone to great expense and great effort from her own resources to provide an elaborate banquet. She put out some serious money. She's gone to great expense and great effort from her own resources. This wasn't some charity affair she took somebody else's money and did. That is the amazing thing now. When you see a big celebrity give a lot of money, do you know where the money comes from? Their foundation. It's not their personal wealth. It's their foundation. You go, oh, my goodness, they gave $50,000. That's amazing. It didn't come from them. It came from their foundation. They had a big charity golf tournament. It raised the money. They showed up at the golf tournament. People paid to play with them. The money went in an account, and they're giving from that account. It's not coming from their personal wealth. And Lady Wisdom invites loudly and prominently those in the most need of what she offers in a banquet. She said, hey, are you simple? Come on down. Come to my banquet. And she doesn't restrict. She cries out. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open square. She cries out in the chief concourses. At the opening of the gates in the city, she speaks her words. Lady Wisdom freely opens her door and table for this banquet. You know, she says, like in Isaiah, ho, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And you who have no money, come buy and eat. Yes, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. And Lady Wisdom requires one thing, a change of direction to enter her banquet. You've got to stop going one way, go the other way. Turn, she says. Lady Wisdom gives health and life to the attendees of her banquet. Let's look, though, now at Lady Folly. If you go a little bit further in the same 7th chapter of Proverbs, we read these words. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest place of the city to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, see, it's the same cry Lady Wisdom makes. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there. Proverbs also tell us that in contrast to the wise woman, Lady Wisdom, she builds her house. The foolish woman does what? Tears down her house. Lady Folly speaks loudly and proudly, but has no real personal success before her banquet. She got nothing. She's sitting on the stoop. Yo, I'm smart. I'm on the stoop. Lady Folly has done no preparation. She's expended no energy and gone to no expense for her banquet. Stolen waters are sweet. And guess what we're going to have? Bread. Woo! Awesome. We're going to have bread. Lady Folly calls from the most prominent place to the most vulnerable concerning her banquet. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. She's calling from a prominent place. Lady Wisdom calls to those in need. This woman is seeking those who are vulnerable. And Lady Folly offers that which is cheap, stolen, and that which promises immediate pleasure at her banquet. This will be fun right now. Cheap, stolen, and promises immediate pleasure. And Lady Folly gives destruction/death to the attendees of her banquet. There's a way that seems right unto the man, but the end of the way is death. We live in a world where these two competing women cry out every day. Lady Folly and Lady Wisdom. Our response to Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. Proverbs 9, 7 through 12 is the middle section of this set of Proverbs, Proverbs 9. And it gives to us how you RSVP. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself. He who rebuilds a wicked man only harms himself. Do not correct a scoffer, lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be wiser still. Teach a just man, he will increase in learning. You see that? Teach a just man, he'll only get smarter. Teach a wise man, he'll only get wiser. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For by me your days will be multiplied, and the years of your life will be added to you. If you're wise for yourself. So I need to say, I'm coming, and I'm receptive to rebuke from God. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harm for himself. Don't correct a scoffer, lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. If I'm going to go to Lady Wisdom's table, we're going to be sitting at the table, and she's going to go, that's wrong. The picture is of sitting at a table and listening to someone who's smarter than you. And as you present your idea, Lady Wisdom is going to go, that's just not smart. And I'm going to need to be willing to be a person who's going to come and take the rebuke. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. I'm coming, and I'm seeking reverence for God. The fear of what? The Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I'm coming, and I'm accepting responsibility to God. If you're going to be wise, you're wise for yourself. In other words, you're responsible. He who sins against his own soul wrongs his own soul. All of those who hate me, that's wisdom, love what? Death. So we need to decide to RSVP. I'm coming, I'm accepting responsibility. I'm coming, I'm seeking reverence. I'm coming, and I'm receptive to rebuke. RSVP to dinner, Lady Wisdom, Lady Folly. So now we've gone through those three proverbs. What we need to do now is to take out a blank sheet of paper for a quiz. It's the memory verse. She just gave me that, what are you talking about, Willis? Look. What's the memory verse today? Ecclesiastes 12, right? Ecclesiastes 12, 13, and 14. If you have the Proverbs 1 memorized, I'll take it. Just start writing. I'm sorry, Judy. Proverbs 1:7. Remember that one? I'm not taking the Psalms one. Well, take a second, look at the verse real quick. Close it. Ecclesiastes 12. Yes. It's in the syllabus, right? I don't know. I've never looked at the syllabus. Okay. Oh, that's a shame, Judy, because last week I gave 10s out. And Angela gets a 10 because it was her birthday. Rudy doesn't because it wasn't his birthday.